Hi everybody and welcome to the Money Man, Money Boy show. Another interesting round 5, another interesting week ahead. Ollie, how was last week?
Not good. Neither was the week before.
Yeah. What went wrong last week?
Maybe the Brumbies didn't have mumps. Maybe that's what went wrong. I had the Chiefs to win quite comfortably, put quite a lot of money down on one, and then had them in a multiple bet too. Then yeah, I also backed the Sunwolves, I think just from that one bet that came off for me at the start of the Super Rugby, so know to stay away from them. And then the Bulls as well, just didn't think they were poor enough to lose to a poor Blues side at home, but they proved me wrong. So
yeah, look, I mean, the one thing that last week proved that there's no such thing as a sure thing or easy money.
For sure.
The Chiefs cost me, that was my biggest bet as well. So I lost that, but what I did post was, don't try and chase the money and just stick to your betting patterns. And then I had 2 more bets on the weekend. Both those came in. So,
yeah, enjoyable bets as well. The Wilder fight and Stormers game. Nice ones to come off.
Yeah, it was always nice to win. I hate losing, and I think most people do. But you didn't chase any money on the weekend.
No. I put all my bets in by Friday, and then by Saturday afternoon, I'd lost all my money. So,
so what's your record at now?
I think I'm 15 rugby bets. I'm 5 from 15. 33%. Yeah. And I'm down 4% overall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wrote a column earlier in the week, and one of my mates commented, "I'm surprised Money Man still trusts his Money Boy to be putting these out." So happy to be here for round 5.
Yeah, well, you're still learning.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried. Let's get into round 5. Your Super Brew, you're playing Super Brew. How are you doing in Super Brew?
I'm not playing the Super Brew.
Okay.
I'm just putting out my statements so I can be held accountable, but staying away from the Super Brew itself. But I put my picks down every week with you guys.
Where are you looking at when you look at the first game, Highlanders Rebels?
It's a tough one. I mean, the Highlanders aren't great, but they can still score points. The Rebels aren't great.
Well, they've been awful.
They've been pretty terrible. I mean, it's a game I'm not going to bet on, but I would say Highlanders by 11. I think the handicaps, I've got 12.5 on Sporting Bet. I think it's a bit high. I'd say Highlanders by 11.
Yeah, 11. The biggest question I keep getting asked every week is, what does it mean minus 11.5 and plus 11.5? So let me explain that to people. Minus 11.5 means that the Highlanders start the game with minus 11.5 on the board. So if you're going to bet on minus 11.5 for the Highlanders, they've got to overcome a minus handicap and win by 12 or more for you to win your bet. For the Rebels, if you like the Rebels, it means that they start the game with an imaginary plus 11.5 on the board. And as long as they don't lose, they can lose by 11 or under, but they can't lose by 12. So all the handicapping is for which side. You're either laying the Highlanders or taking the Rebels. Yeah,
and it would be the more conservative bet to go with the Rebels because it means they can also then win or draw.
Of course, it means that as long as they don't lose by 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you've won the money. As long as they only lose by that amount.
Yeah.
So it's just basically, if you're betting the Highlanders, you start the game minus 11.5 on the board. So whatever the numbers have got to add up to more than minus 11.5 at the end of the game, full-time score, and the opposite for the Rebels.
What are your thoughts on the game?
2 pretty bad teams. It wouldn't surprise me if the Rebels won, because the Highlanders are in a transitional phase, in a rebuilding phase. But I like, for my Super Brew, the Highlanders win by 7 or 8.
Okay.
That's my pick. But I won't be placing any money on it.
Yeah. Dangerous one.
Dangerous one. The next one is the Warthogs versus the Lions. The Warthogs are favoured by about minus 1.5 points.
Yeah, I've got minus 4.5 on Sporting Bet. I don't know. I think they've got it right. I'd say about Warthogs by 5. In my opinion, I really don't think it's a great Lions side.
No, and even worse when travelling away from home.
Yeah, not the kind of team that's going to go and knock over even the Aussie sides.
No.
there, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. I like the Waratahs in this game, and I think that they'll win by 3 or more points. So I will be betting on the Waratahs to win.
Are you going to do an outright, or are you going to handicap?
It depends what the odds are before kickoff, but
Yeah.
you know, the last odds that I saw were 15 to 20, meaning that, you know, every 200 you lay down, you get 150 back plus your 200. I like the Waratahs to win outright on those odds, so I'll be backing the Waratahs for an outright win.
Okay.
But you know, I post my bets an hour before kickoff if I'm betting on anything, but I will be betting on that game.
Okay.
And then we have a team that you bet on last week, and you were only off by 60-odd points. The Sunwolves travel away to the Hurricanes.
Well, I mean, I think they sort of showed they've had one game in them, you know, and it was that first one against, I think it was the Rebels.
Yeah.
You know, and my 6-1 came off, so I thought, oh, maybe they're a team to continue backing. Obviously not. I think the Hurricanes will pump them by, over 25. Yeah,
look, I know Jordie Barrett isn't playing. He's golfing this week. But the Hurricanes have named a reasonably good side for that.
Yeah, I was looking at that back line. It's just, you know, they'll probably tear them apart.
They should. Minus 33.5. I like the Hurricanes to win by 40 or more points.
40 or more?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Based on what the Brumbies did to them last week.
Wasn't the Reds...
Oh, sorry, I'm sounding like James Dalton now. What the Reds did, what the Reds took the Sunwolves apart.
Yeah, that surprised me though. I didn't think it was a Reds side good enough to stick that many points past, like, even the Sunwolves, you know. And the Reds have looked pretty bad too. So
yeah, they have, but they've been competitive. I mean, they were dominated in the first half in Argentina. They were pretty competitive against the Lions, even though it's a bad Lions team, but at Lions Park. And we saw how the Stormers struggled there. So looking for form, I mean, I think the Hurricanes will lay a beating on them. Yeah, I mean, my sort of feeling from the first 4 rounds of Super Rugby is that there's just a lot of average sides at the moment, you know, and that kind of lends itself to unpredictability. It's not like you've got 2 good sides going up against each other. You've got 2 poor sides going up against each other, and it almost makes the betting a little bit more difficult. It's like, which team's going to be more poor? You know, that was the case of the Blues and the Bulls this past weekend. Well, I picked the Blues, so I so you're not complaining? Not complaining, no. And again, picked them more on the side that they weren't like you said, they were the lesser 2 evils. Yeah. You know, they're both 2 poor teams. And again, I said yesterday as well, I don't understand where people's optimism comes in from a Bulls point of view. Because they've lost so much talent that it's surely a rebuilding phase. And, you know, it's basically a varsity cup, a little bit better than a varsity cup side that's playing right now. Yeah. So I don't know why it's surprising people that the Bulls are struggling, you know. But saying that, let's move on to the Reds and the Sharks, and that's the game of the week for me, in terms of viewing and in terms of interest from a South African point of view. Bookies can't really separate these teams. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, there's that. I think that probably comes in with the home ground advantage for the Reds. I think it'd be different story if the Sharks were facing them at home. But I definitely like the Sharks at -1.5. I think they'll beat them by 6. And that returns, you know, like 100% on your money. So that's the one game that I'm definitely going to be betting on. Yeah. Yeah, look, I love the way the Sharks are playing. I love watching them play. And I hope that they prove me wrong on this one, because I'm going with the Reds. I've just seen enough in the Reds to allow me to think that they're better than their form has shown. And again, it's got more to do with psychological warfare than anything else. The Sharks going home, they've won 2 out of 3. They will have felt that they've accomplished what they set out to do. I know what it's like to be on tour in the last week or last thing of wanting to get home, and your mind starts to wander about the flight and everything else. So I just like the Reds to get up and pip them by 3 points. So I will be betting on the Reds to beat the Sharks this week. Okay. Again, it's one of those things where, like you said, we do the show at 10, and you know, teams are announced at 1 in the afternoon, and like we saw what happened 2 weeks ago with the Sharks. You know, like Cohen Bosch out, and then those injuries early in the game. Selections do make a big difference. So I'm going to wait until that side's released and everything. Wait until just before kickoff. Yeah. And then. No, it's wise. I mean, and you're right. We don't know the teams yet, and I may change it. But like I said, don't bet on what I say here. I post my bets. If I don't post a bet, I'm not betting on it. And you know, people that have followed me for a little while know that I don't bet on everything. It's It's how I try. It's how I remain profitable. Stormers Blues.
It's a tough one because I mean the Stormers I think will definitely knock them over. The Blues aren't a very good side, but the Stormers haven't won their games by huge margins. Aside from that first one, you know, since then. I mean they've got -9.5 here on Sporting Bet. I don't know. I think if they do score more than that, it'll be by 10 or 11 points, and maybe like a 21-10 kind of game. So I'm gonna, I think I'll back the Stormers by 10 to 11, but I don't think it's gonna be like a blowout.
No, I don't think so either. And I'm just hoping that John Dobson resists all the noise pollution that's going on around the Stormers right now. Everybody going at Damien Willemse, having a go at him. He's young, he's a kid, let him play.
Yeah.
All talk of this exciting brand of rugby, that it's not exciting. What is exciting is 4-0, Stormers top of the table.
Exactly.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So Dobbo, if you're listening, and I know you don't follow my show, but maybe one of the guys will give you a soundbite. Don't fall for all the noise pollution that's going on around. Yeah, you got not winning beautifully and not doing that. What is beautiful is 4-0. Should go 5-0 if you play the same sort of brand of rugby. I'm happy to watch that.
Yeah.
And winning rugby is what gets people back to the stadium. So stay the course, my friend. I think the Stormers will win, and the bookies have got this about right, 8.5. You know, to 9 points.
Yeah.
The Bulls Jaguars. The Bulls Jaguars.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Bulls. It's an interesting one. I mean, they're favoured. I mean, the Jaguars are favoured, but not super heavily. I thought they would actually be favoured a little bit more heavily, considering the Bulls' run of poor form. But I'm going to go with Jaguars by 7. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you betting on the game?
I think again, I'll see before kickoff. You know, I don't want to place anything now because it always seems to happen. I'll place a bet on a Thursday, so sure of it, and something between Thursday to Saturday.
Coronavirus will break out and
exactly, and then and then maybe the Bulls will win.
Yeah, you know, the Bulls are not coached well, I don't believe. Pretty one-dimensional. Been really poor, and I don't see them beating a Jaguars team who probably have targeted this game as a game that they want to win.
I think in terms of style of play, it's like the Bulls have one sort of approach, and it's one that the Jaguars can negate. And then past like number 10, there's no creativity in the back line. There's no sort of defensive awareness either, you know. And Jaguars have shown to be quite good on attack this season. So I just don't think it's going to be, you know, they're not going to be able to beat them at their own strength. I think they'll probably just get beaten out wide again. Yeah.
There's nothing that the Bulls I've seen that would make me change my mind. Jaguars are a decent outfit. It was a tough game last week against the Stormers, but
nice win again for the Stormers. I mean, there was so much, like you said, noise around it, but
yeah, you would have thought that they lost the game the way the press was asking silly questions. I like the Jaguars to blow the Bulls off the field.
Really?
Yeah,
sure.
15 points plus.
Okay.
I don't think that the Bulls will offer much resistance.
Yeah, do you think it's going to be one of those things where it just spirals now for the rest of the season?
Well, confidence is a big thing in any sport, and the Bulls will be lacking a lot of confidence. Yeah. You know, and it doesn't matter. The forwards won't be able to. Well, the forwards are pretty impressive. They may be able to match the might of the Jaguars, but the back line of the Jaguars, if they get front forward ball, which I imagine they will be pretty impressive. You know, because I was impressed with the way that the Jaguars forwards fronted up to the Stormers last week. I thought that the Stormers would impose themselves physically, and they didn't really take advantage of their experience and buck props.
Yeah.
So for me, Jaguars by 15 plus.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be that big, but you've got more right than me so far, so we'll see when we chat this time.
Well, yeah, I hope you start getting a bit more right, but don't stress, you know. As James says, one swallow doesn't make the summer come.
One bird doesn't make a swallow.
Anyway, thanks for coming in all.
Thanks,
appreciate it, man.